Did you know that there are ways of communicating that make you come across as not only courteous, but also refined and professional? Especially when you bear in mind that there's a difference between trying to impress and making a good impression. Now, your emphasis should be on the latter, especially if you're interested in building that know, like, and trust factor needed for success in the many areas of your life, be it online or offline. Today, 12 of them have been shared, and if that's something you'd like to see, then definitely keep on watching. First up is, I don't understand what you're saying. Now, there are better ways of putting that. Rather than say that to someone, you can go ahead and just say, I didn't quite get that. Please say that again. Or I'm not following. Those are alternatives, better alternatives to saying, I don't understand what you're saying. Okay? I'm dedicating this post to Mr. KGN, and I'm saying this because clearly he's found some of my work or some of my articles interesting. And then someday he just sent this to me, composed by him, of course, and said, I think you might want to do a video on this, you know? And I looked at it, I'm like, why not? And so what you have here, some of the points you have here are a combination of my original points and then some by Mr. KGN. So I'm saying KGN because that's how his name is abbreviated. But thank you, Mr. KGN, for that, and for always watching, and for always leaving those comments, and for always encouraging me online and offline. Okay, actually online, but on YouTube and on WhatsApp. Well appreciated. Thank you, and let us keep going. Now, this is another common one. A lot of times you hear people say, you're confusing me. It already sounds like an attack. Rather than say you are confusing me, it's okay to say I'm confused. Why are you passing the buck? Why are you apportioning blame? So rather than say you are confusing me, which is probably what's happening with you, but bottom line, I am confused. Okay? Please say that again. Please run through that again. And not, you are confusing me. Sometimes we use it without giving a second thought to it. But like I said, there are better ways of putting it to stay refined, to stay professional, to reduce the friction in your life. You are lying. So, rather than just say you're lying, I mean, if we're joking, it's different. You know, we're playing. I say, oh, you're lying. And then everyone knows it's a joke. But seriously speaking, to just say to a person, you are lying, again comes across as a form of attack. So rather than you are lying, it's okay. It's better to say that information is inaccurate, or that information is not correct, or I don't believe that information to be true. You know, you can play around with other words or other ways of putting it rather than just attack the person and say you are lying. Even if you feel everything there is a lie, attack the issue, not the person. Okay? And this one happens a lot in the office environment or in the corporate world, where you see someone and straight up you say, you didn't send the email. You didn't send me the email. Or even informally, you didn't send the message. You know, how do you know that it wasn't sent? So you leave room for, hey, it could have been network challenges. So how do you know it wasn't sent? So some way of keeping it safe and reducing friction is to say, I didn't receive the email, or I didn't see the email. So you didn't see it, you didn't receive it. Yes, that's at your own end. So it is possible that the person didn't send it, or it's possible he or she sent it and it just didn't get to you. Now, to say what you're saying does not make sense. It's not the best way of putting it across, right? And the last thing I want to believe most people want is to have unnecessary friction with other people whom they probably have good intentions towards. So rather than say such a thing, you might want to say something like, is there a better alternative? Is there another option of putting that or saying that, even if it doesn't make sense? It doesn't have to come across as that, okay? Except you want to fight. So if the intention is to fight, then by all means. So when someone really gets on your nerves, or you're having a conversation with someone and it's really not going well, you know, some conversations are just dead, maybe on arrival or along the way. And when you realize that truly this person is talking rubbish, you don't have to blurt it out and say you are talking rubbish. You can say something as simple as, I'd like to end this conversation, or can we leave this conversation here? Or this conversation is over, you know, something along that line is a better alternative. Nobody has made you a judge over somebody else. So sometimes when you just go on straight and say what you're doing is bad, or what you're doing is horrible, or it can be as simple as that behavior is inappropriate, or I find your behavior towards me inappropriate. It's a better way of putting it than what you're doing is bad, or what you're doing is horrible. Do you see where I'm going? And in this era of fake news, fake posts, you have a lot of people, you actually see it a lot in groups where people just go on, head on, and attack people and say, this is fake news. Or, I mean, if you say this is fake news, it might well be the truth, but if you share that information, if you say that such that it doesn't seem like an attack on the person, then it's a better way of putting it, again, to reduce the friction. We don't need all this friction, really. So rather than that post is fake, you can ask, have you confirmed this post? Has this news been confirmed? Have you checked that this is accurate? Or this information appears inaccurate. So those are some things you can use as against the post is fake, even if it really is fake. Get out from here. It's easy. I can just tell you, like, disappear, just get lost. Yeah, so get out from here. Maybe if I'm really mad, but being really mad and publicly so is not exactly the most refined demeanor you want to put out, is it? So rather than saying get out of here, you could say, I would appreciate if you leave this place. I would appreciate if it's your room or your space. Yes, I would appreciate if you excuse me. I would appreciate if you leave my space or my area or my room or my office, okay, rather than get out of here. And remember, it doesn't even have to be your peer, even if it's your subordinate, even if it's a younger person. Those are refined ways to speak, and it really doesn't cost you anything. Okay, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you may reap benefits from being more polite, being more refined, and keeping things professional. And how about you'll be punished, or you'll get a query for this, or so all of those things, you know, something that is pretty straightforward. Like I said, this list is not exhaustive. The options are not exhaustive. There are better ways of putting it, but the whole idea is to draw your consciousness to how we use words or how we coin words, right? So you'll get punished for this. Something as simple as there are consequences to this action, or there are consequences to what you've just done. Ways of passing it across without looking like you are trying to put somebody down, without looking like you're trying to threaten someone, without looking like you just want to create an unfriendly work or personal informal environment. Okay, so pay attention to that and use what you believe is a more appropriate option. I'm just providing a few, and I hope it actually does help. You know, I'll always remind you to subscribe if you haven't done that, and go ahead and like and leave a comment if you are yet to do that. Thank you for all the support, and let's go to the next one. And then you also hear people say things like, you don't understand what I'm saying, or you're not understanding me. That's an attack. I'm in a conversation with you, and then from nowhere, you just think, you don't understand what I'm saying. You're not understanding me. You don't have to put it that way. You can just say something as simple as, let me make myself a little clearer. Okay, let me go through this again. Okay, let me put it this way. Okay, let me be a little clearer. You're taking responsibility somewhat. Even though you have acknowledged that from the feedback you're getting from this person, chances are that he or she is totally lost on really not understanding you. So it's not for you to spell out to the person how dull you imagine he or she is. Just go ahead and say, let me make it a little clearer. Okay? Not, you're not understanding me. Or are you not understanding me? Are you not following? No, not that way. Okay, again, we want to keep it civil, we want to keep it professional, and we want to keep it refined. Hey, you're a queen, you're a king. So act like royalty. Got it? Let's keep going. Or you take it a step further and tell the person, you're not listening. Hello, you're not listening to me. Or I'm talking, you're doing something else. There are better ways of putting that. Make it simple. Make it straightforward. May I have your attention? Choma, may I have your attention? Ade, may I have your attention? Adesua, may I have your attention? Fatima, may I have your attention? There are better ways of putting this thing than you're not listening to me, or you're not listening. What are you doing? I'm talking, you're doing something else. Like, hello. Okay? Life is beautiful, and let's keep it that way. If we keep improving, if we keep researching these things, if we keep seeking knowledge, we will only keep getting better. In line with getting better, I have a whole playlist titled Excellent Communication. I'll link that up for you, and do well to catch up with that and other videos that I've done. And I'll see you in the next one. Until then,